Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Great afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks a whole bunch for jumping online. And I would greatly appreciate it if you would do me a solid and share this thread, invite someone in. We're going to have an amazing, amazing conversation with who I know for sure to be a pretty cotton picking amazing cat. I know him personally, and it is my absolute pleasure today to be able to share him with you and share the endeavors that he has embarked upon. If you've never ever tuned in before, my name is Dionne. They happen to call me the radical one, and this is another Increase Media moment. I'm super excited, very, very proud of the reality that somebody that I know personally has decided to take the initiative to step into potentially a city council role and actually impact the communities that we tread upon on a daily basis. So it'll be with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that I'd love to introduce you to Mr. Delon Jackson. Hey,
Amazing.
hey.
How you doing? I was trying to look around. Who's she talking about?
You funny.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Super glad to have you. And
Yeah. Glad
thank
to be
you for the opportunity to share this process with you. Honestly, it's dope. I'm happy for you,
Thank you.
excited
Thank
about
you.
the outcome. Because whatever it is, it's winning, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yes,
just
it
uh,
is.
just
It
taking
is.
the step and having the courage to do what a whole bunch of other folks would never have the courage to do.
Wow.
Hi, Denise. Of course, she's peeking in, right? Um, but I don't want to prolong the time. I certainly want to jump in and talk about some of the things that are important to you and really kind of give people an opportunity to know the heart of the man as opposed
Yeah.
to just a picture on a poster. I know both of us have spent quite a bit of time in the city of Richmond, and I'm sure you'll be able to share a whole bunch about who you are and what your history is. And so, Delon, I'm gonna let you run, and then of course I'll jump in and ask you some officer questions myself. You know me.
Right. Right. I'm ready. I'm ready. Whenever you're ready. So,
Good.
just a little bit about me. Like she said, Delon Jackson. I'm running for Fairfield City Council in District 4. District 4 in Fairfield consists of, if you're from Fairfield, Paradise Valley, Rolling Hills, also Rancho Solano. So we're a middle class and somewhat wealthy class area in the city of Fairfield. But that being said, I was born and raised in Richmond, California.
Yay.
Yeah, I love so much. You know what I'm saying? Some people like Richmond. Yeah, Richmond, you got an issue. But but I love the city so much. I was supposed to go to Kennedy High School, but my mom said, no, you're going to Pinole Valley because I want you to get in trouble.
Right, that part.
So she sent me to Pinole Valley, ended up graduating from Pinole Valley. Football, just some good things out there. I really got my life together. After that, once I got out of high school, I decided to go on to school. I went to college, Phoenix University, yes. Got me a degree in criminal justice. I then continued to go on and got me with the University, Holy Names University. And I ended up getting a degree in business and an MBA in finance. So
that's a big deal, especially for a Richmond cat.
Yes, money was a big thing, this issue right there. So I did that. And also took 1 year of law school. I was trying to go through law school, but I had to work and go to school. And when you're in law school, I mean, that's a serious dedication. You had to give up everything just to study. I couldn't do it. So 1 year of law school, I wish I would have stayed, but because of circumstances and me trying to make it and stuff, 1 year and then I dropped out. And that's why I then went on to Holy Names University.
Okay.
So I loved it, every bit of it.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a humble beginnings for an even greater good and a greater purpose. Now, for those, in Fairfield that have absolutely no clue, if I were to go to Kennedy High School, if the world were normal, and even begin to mention Delon Jackson, the kids would go buck. Listen, you got to tell the people about your journey to ending up at Kennedy High School, being that campus officer, that safety those kids got to trust and lean and depend on, and expect
Yes.
Officer Jackson to check them. You got to tell them about that.
Okay, so well, for the last 20 years, I worked for the Richmond Police Department. In that process, I worked as school resource officer. I worked school resource for 7 years. I think that was the longest any school resource have done it. But because of the things that I was doing with the kids, the administrator did not want me to leave. They kept on asking me to stay there. So at Kennedy, a lot of things that we did, we worked with. I became the athletic director as an all law enforcement officer. Brought in a lot of coaches, police officers who was coaches and stuff to work with the kids. I also did work with the Black Student Union. We took kids all over. I mean, we took them to Atlanta. We took them to HBCUs, step shows, taught them how to do dancing. We brought in for the sororities. So we did a lot of things with the kids. And this is me doing as an officer. As a police officer, I was doing this. So they didn't see me as an officer. They saw me as Mr. Jackson. I remember when I first started, they didn't even want to get in the car. But I guarantee you, after like 6 months later, they jumped in my police car. All right, that's Jackson. Let me stop them. So we built that relationship. I built that relationship to let them know that, hey, I'm from the same community you and do this. So that was the things we did in Richmond. There's a lot more than that, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, you summed it up in 2-3 minutes when in reality, it was a far greater fuss than that. I know that for a fact. Several of the kids, it's amazing how you'll be somewhere and overhear a conversation. And you know me, I'm gonna stick close to the wall and pay attention to what's going on. And so I've heard some of the children talking about you in passing and the impact that you had on their lives. And, just from knowing you personally and watching you be that father, that mentor, that teacher to really whoever's child, always family man and holding it down. And so, just from the outside looking in, I always saw you as just a solid dude, forget officer, forget minister, just hardworking provider, a dude, a real man, right? So it is always a blessing for, especially in our community, to see men who, for real, uphold the standard of alpha male, right? Of protector, provider, priest, and actually standing up in it. So I just wanted to give you kudos and just a shout out as a Black woman who grew up in the streets with a lack of that strong male figure, that that person that you didn't just do your job. You always went a cut above. And so I just wanted to commend you. So now I'm going to go a little bit deeper, because before we start talking about this COVID stuff, I want to give people a peer into the heart of who you are. And so I'm going to make you uncomfortable for a minute, but I promise at the end, you'll get fully redeemed. And so I promise.
Okay.
Right.
Lord. Okay.
I got you. So let me tell y'all this. Delon did not like me. You hear me? And today I understand. I understand for several different reasons, but I also understand that the enemy will do whatever it is that he feels needful and necessary to attempt to destroy things before they begin. And so I want to share a piece of my personal testimony. I talk about this very openly, intentionally. When my son was diagnosed with brain and spine cancer, Delon approached me about something that my son was eager to do, with regard to serving. And if you know my history, homelessness is my passion and my heart, as it is Delon's. And Delon scheduled a meeting with his frats, and he and his frat brothers together collectively made sure that we had more than enough meat. He coordinated the caterer, which is Chef D right here in the city of Vallejo. Shout out to Chef D.
Yeah.
And we were able to feed 3 cities with what was donated and what was spearheaded by Officer Delon Jackson in a fight for my son's life. And I've never said it out loud publicly, but Delon, I wish you knew what that did for me in that season. It was one of the hardest seasons of my entire life, and your selflessness, your willingness, in spite of and beyond, to get to know me and not little Dionne in this grown-up suit, and to put all of that aside in an effort to be a man, in an effort to be a leader, in an effort to be a minister, in an effort to be a bridge, in an effort to love on me in spite of. I just want to say openly and very publicly, I appreciate you from the very bottom of my heart. And I'm sure those hundreds of people that we fed that day will never forget that we had about, I don't even know how many cars it was.
Oh yeah, it was a lot.
and how many men. And it was where I met my pastor. Actually, I reconnected with my pastor. And that's when I knew he was my pastor, because he was not a pastor. He just came and served with us like a regular dude. Right. And so it was an amazing, amazing time. It speaks to what you will add to this community. It speaks to what you will lend to this community. And it speaks to your heart for God, your heart for God's people, and your heart for really wanting to help outside of any and everything. So if you didn't know, now you know. I appreciate you.
I thank you. And I give all the glory to God. I mean, because without him, I would not be. Everything that I have, everything that is presented to me is happen. So all glory goes to God in everything I do. And God has taught me that it's about him and his will, in his will. So what I do is what for the people, and letting them know that there is hope, there is an opportunity. And if you just accept what God has for you, your blessings will flow. So I want to thank you for being a part of my life and giving me that knowledge and wisdom when needed, because you're a blessing to not just myself, but many other people. So it's good to be a Jackson on both sides today.
It is. Absolutely. I am not mad at all. Now, listen, I wouldn't mind a name change. Jackson to heart, right? Very good, very good.
Yes, thank you.
So now let's talk a little bit. First and foremost, how are you holding up during all of this going on, especially with attempting to campaign with COVID and the election coming up, and not really being able to navigate like we would normally? What has been your process?
Well, right now I'm my own manager, so I'm doing everything on my own, and it's difficult because that communication that you want to have with the people, you just can't have it. Advise people not to have it, because right now everybody is in a way of shielding themselves because everybody's scared. They just don't know. Here we know other people that's going through this, so you just got to be cautious. You just got to be able to talk from a distance. We're known for that in our community. I mean, we could be out in the window and yelling at another person, "Hey!" from a distance, right? So that's nothing new to us. I think that it's hard because when I go out and do walks and pass out my door hangers, it's amazing. When I get to some doors, they just close the door or the garage door even before I get there. And they don't come back, So, and sometimes when they do say, I say, "Hey, I'm Delon Jackson, I'm running for city council," and they say, "Just put it over there."
Right, scared half to death.
Right. But I understand. I understand. You know, I lost a good friend of mine from COVID who was a police officer. You know who that is, Virgil. So I understand the importance of it. So it is difficult, but you know what? It's like I asked the Lord, this is what I said to God. I said, God, if this is your will, I'll do it. He says this to me. He says, he didn't tell me to do it, but he said, I'll allow you to do it. There's a difference. A lot of people say, well, the Lord told me to do that. Wait a minute. The Lord says, I didn't tell you, but I'll allow you. Mm-hmm. That's enough. If the Lord allows me to do it, then that's good enough. Mm-hmm. So I took that as a yes, and I'm down moving forward. So it's a difficult process. I'm meeting new people. I'm learning politics, which I do not really want to be a part of politics. So let me tell y'all now, everybody who's listening, I'm not a politician. I'm a statesman. Find out the difference. I'm not a politician. You know, I'm here about the people, for the people, with the people. That's the whole thing that I fight for and go for.
And I totally get that. I'm going to ask you probably a difficult question. So from what I understand, the city councilman there in Fairfield is tenured. He's been there forever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm sure that has its challenges first and foremost. But more than anything, as a contender, you know, what outside of the fact that you have all these years of experience as an officer, what do you feel qualifies you for this now?
So let's put it this way. To me, I think I'm qualified than everyone's on the council. A lot of people can talk it. A lot of people can say this and that. But if you're not in the trenches yourself, you really don't know what's going on. A lot of the individuals that's on the council, majority of them, okay, yeah, you've been on the council for so many years. You go to this meeting, you go to that meeting, you talk to this people. You have to. That's what you have to do. But besides that, what do? See, I've been in the trenches for so long in Richmond, working with the kids, dealing with the community, making quick decisions as an officer's life and death decisions. Been there, done that. Dealing with money, been there, done that. So I'm in the trenches. I can put my record against any one of them on the council, and I guarantee you that my record will stand compared to them. Some of them are principals. Okay, I can become a principal. MBA, I could, no problem. A principal is no problem. I work in the schools and school resource officer. I can become, I was almost a lawyer. But what's important is, can you go into the trenches of the community? Can you go into the low income community and stand face to face with them on the corner and talk to them like normal? Or talk above them? That's the key.
You're right. I agree. So, yeah, I agree.
So that's why it's important to me that it's not about where you've been and what you've done. It's about who you've been with. When, you know what I'm saying? It's about the grooming of the relationship you have with your community. Because that's what it's all about. If you want to get something done, I think it's the best thing is go to your community and ask them, okay, this is what they're getting ready to do. What do you think? Because guess what? You're paying our salaries. Those taxes and stuff, that's coming from the community.
Right.
They need to be a part of what's going on in their community.
Right. I absolutely agree.
That's what I look at when it comes to my relationship, my experience, knowledge compared to the other ones. I guarantee you, I will put my record up against any one of them and let the people decide which one has the better record.
Very good. I think when I think about it, especially considering we are living in a very transitional time. Everything is shifting. Everything is changing. Everything is being done newly. Everything is moving in a different direction. And finally, I think that people's thought process and mindset is shifting with our moments of isolation and quiet. And to be very honest, it would concern me or alarm me if I were in the city of Fairfield and I know that this person has been in office in the same place, doing the same thing, getting the same results over and over again. Wouldn't it be nice to have some fresh blood? Wouldn't it be nice to have a fresh perspective, a fresh idea, a fresh thought process concerning really, really inciting change? And so let me pose a question from that place. What are some things as a resident of Fairfield have you seen that would be one of the first things as a city council person that you would attempt to tackle?
I think it's this. I mean, when I look at Richmond, I can say Richmond is so far ahead of a lot of cities. Believe it or not, people might don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Came to Fairfield and came back to Fairfield because, like I said, my uncle been out here in the 70s. My mother moved in the 80s. So I understand. But the difference is in between Richmond and Fairfield. We have in Richmond, we have neighborhood councils.
Mm-hmm.
And neighborhood councils allows us as leaders to go to them and ask them what's going on. They don't have that here. They have neighborhood watches, but they don't have neighborhood councils where I can go to a council in my district and say, this is what's happening. What do you need? What's going on in your streets? What's going on in your community? Okay, you got this going and people hanging out here. I will be able to talk to them one-on-one and get that feeling. I think that's the most important thing that I want to bring first is a neighborhood council together, because I'm going to need the community to lean on. There's going to be times when I'm going to have to make a decision, and I don't want to make that decision on my own. I want the community to help me make that decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I will be able to go to that neighborhood council and say, hey, this is getting ready to happen. This is what they want us to vote on as a people, as a community, what you think is best. And then they'll know. Now I have reinforcements behind me. I have a community behind me when I make that decision. It won't be my own decision. So I think a neighborhood council is one of the biggest things we need to bring here in Fairfield. Mm-hmm. And there's other things we need to bring. Homelessness, we need to work on that. And I guess we'll talk about that and some more areas, which is a need. The police, the relationship with the police is a big thing, you know?
Right.
So those are some of the things, but the number one thing I think I'll bring is the neighborhood councils, because that will give me a boost of knowing what direction I need to go as their representative.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to ask another one of those little trying questions. As a former police officer, with the climate, with the Blue Lives Matter topic, you know, we got to tackle that because I see you on both sides of the fence. I know, you know, that because you serve, there's a part of your heart that's connected to that whole idea, that whole identity, and the reality that all police officers are not bad police officers. And so just as I pose this, in the city of Fairfield, what do you see in the structural organization of police and how they move around that you would want to see differently, as a civilian?
Okay, so let's do it this way. I wanted to tackle things on that because that was a question that brought up to me. First of all, a big issue now, and we're going to try to jump a little bit, is Black Lives Matter, right? That's a big issue right now. Well, check this out. I'm a black man, and my life do matter. Okay, I am a black man, and my life do matter. So, and then I look at the second thing is that, okay, I'm a police officer. I'm a police officer. The lives of those officers matter. The lives of a firefighter matter. The lives of a nurse or a doctor matter. Public service matter. But then this is the big one that the Lord gave to me. He says, but you're also a Christian. And the lives of my children matter too. Mm-hmm. So now you got to realize that not just the lives of a black person matter and the lives of an officer matter, but the lives of God's children matter too. Mm-hmm. So when I look at police officers today, I notice that one thing that we're lacking is relationship within the community. We've got away from officers walking the beat, getting to know the community, hanging out in the community, hanging out in the streets. A lot of these kids don't even know the officers. And if they do, it's in a negative way. These officers got to get out their car and they got to start walking around, talking and everything else. And not just that, we need to build a relationship with the NAACP, the fraternities and sororities, have them to come in and train and teach our officers about cultural awareness, about diversity in all these areas. There's nothing wrong for them coming in and teaching. But then again, on the flip side, there's nothing wrong for them to come in and officers teach them about police and how they do things. It has to be a communication with both sides, training each other. And I was saying to myself, how about if we bring in NAACP or any of them and they be a part of the PAL program And by being a part of the program, they train officers about the community they're living in. That's what we need. We need unifying togetherness, working together, not apart. And officers, I'm telling you, if you're here, we got to get out your cars. You got to go back to the old school when we used to walk the beat. When you was downtown, we used to get out of the car, walk up and down. Everybody, you knew every owner of the business. And you knew every person who was on the corner drunk or whatever, you knew their name and they knew you. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important.
Mm-hmm. The crazy part is I grew up with a police officer, his name Larry, who is now right the director for PAL, yes. Right? So yes. We knew a whole bunch because of course they would always be at his house, and you know my grandmother living right there. The police knew me, I knew them. Even when I worked downtown in downtown Richmond, the police knew me and I knew them at Mr. C's for hair. Mm-hmm. When I used to be a stylist, and the pharmacy was not Walgreens. It was the pharmacy on that corner right there of McDonald.
Right.
It made a difference.
And I remember the times when, as an officer, there was kids who used to do something bad, and I say, "Hey, I'm going to call your mother right now," and I'll get ready to walk to go get the phone. They say, "No, stop." You see, I use that because the relationship I had with their family and stuff, I didn't have to go, "Hey, you going to jail? You doing?" No, I got on the phone and called their parents up and say, "Hey, John is over here acting up. You need to come and get him." Put him on the phone, Delon. I put him on the phone, and guess what? That kid was walking around. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. That's how to get back to the community. Takes a village. It takes a village. Okay, get back to that, and we're so far away from it.
We are, and it appears that with all the societal changes and the cultural changes and climate, right, Dan? Macmillan's right on Cutting, right?
Yeah, yes, I remember that. Macmillan's Pharmacy. They did a lot of candy. Okay,
right. But when you think about the current climate of culture and how things have shifted and how things are digital and how things are electronic and we're not really allowed to touch one another, what you said and what I recall being a young girl and seeing the police officer in the community and having that relational sustainability, that was the impact, I believe. And even with you being on campus with those kids and having that relationship and being able to call their mother and say, or call their father, or, you know, be like, now I know your people. I know your mama. Is your daddy's name? Right. It's not the culture we're breeding. And so I'm excited to see what the impact, number one, of a fresh set of lenses would look like in the city of Fairfield. You know, and what you would really be able to contribute with that hands-on mentality. Right. And what you would be able to deal with that neighborhood. What did you call it? Neighborhood what?
Neighborhood council.
Neighborhood council. So Delon, just to get, I'm going to back up just a little bit because there are certain things that you said that were important to you in this process. Along with homelessness, can you touch on a couple of additional things that you know will be principal things should you be victorious in this campaign?
Well, a big thing is this: COVID-19 is really, and like I said, we're not over it. We're still in the storm. Sad thing about it is the rainy season is coming. So all those that have outside dining, what's going to happen then? People are not going to be standing in the rain to go into a building outside. It's not going to happen. Especially ladies ain't going to get their hair messed up. That's not going to happen. So those type of things that we have to address. One of the things that I look at is the businesses that we have. We've lost a lot of businesses due to COVID-19 without a business. I mean, 24-hour fitness is closed out here. It's gone. I mean,
really?
Yeah, they shut down. That's how bad it is. Now we have movie theaters. The movie theaters are temporarily closed across the board. And the thing about it is, we're still in this COVID-19. We're still going through it. And even if they came up with a vaccine, how many do you think is going to really take it? Because they still don't know what's going on. So we got to realize that it's going to be here. We got to look at it as is, okay? So the first thing I'm looking at when I talk to businesses is this. We need to do a SWOT analysis. We need to find out the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, the training of each of the business and see where they're weak at, where they're strong at, what they're best at. Yeah, there's money out there. So the county gives you money, but that's temporary money. That's not money for a long-term purpose.
Right.
It's temporary. We need to look at, first of all, we need to look at a long-term issue, a plan, a long-term plan. My thing is this. We need to look at, businesses need to look at how Amazon do it online. How they are able to, people can order things and get things online. We need to better that. We need to look at how DoorDash do it when it comes to delivering. We need to look at how, I can tell you, Sonic or A&W back in the days, remember the drive-through where they used to bring the food out to you? We need to look at that so people can get food. I mean, over here, we got Texas Roadhouse. They had a system where they park the car and they'll bring the food out. We can better that in all our communities to keep them flowing and keep them going. Another thing I said is, how do hospitals do it? How is it that they have, because they have all people coming in with all kinds of sickness and stuff. How are they able to keep it flowing and stuff? Well, we got to look at an air filtration system or a UV lighting in the business or something. These that we have to venture out and come together with the Chamber of Commerce, the Black, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, all of them, Fairfield is so soon, and try to come up with a plan to keep these businesses. Now, we're not going to save every business. It's not going to happen.
Right.
What we can do, and I'll say real quick, what we can do is this. Those businesses that we're going to lose, we should be able to give them the first response once this is over to come back into business. And we should have a startup plan, some money to get them started. And once they get to where they're supposed to be, then they can give it back. I'm just real. But it gets them going because you got mom and pop's been around for years and they're gone.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They saved everything and it's gone.
Yeah, you're right. So let me do this. I'm gonna back you up in a different way, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I really think that this is one of the things that needs to be addressed. I'm not sure in our communities that we necessarily know, and not everybody, but quite a few people lack understanding about what the role of a city council man or woman is. Can you convey, just in a brief summation, what the roles and responsibilities of a city councilman are?
Well, I say it like this, and that's why it goes back to a person when they need to read about a politician versus a statesman. In today's society, we're more of a politician where we just do what we can for whatever we can just to satisfy people. That's what I don't want to do. A statesman is a person that is for the people, about the people, with the people. Whatever the people want, that's what they do. So as a city councilman, my job is to make sure that our city thrives, that we grow in all areas, and that the people are safe, that they're happy, and that they have the needs that they want to get things done. That's my job, is to make sure that the city is run smoothly. Because it's all about property tax and sales tax. That's our revenue and other things. But I got to make sure that money is going into the city, so those homes, those streets, those trees, whatever it may be, is looking good for the community, happy. They can raise a family. They feel good about it. That's my job, is to make sure it happens. But that law enforcement, fire, everybody is doing their job. And if they're not, then guess what? I'm going to let them know they better get their act together.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Now, one of the things I know is I was having a conversation with a young lady. Her name is Nicole Jackson, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we were having a conversation about measures and different things. And the reality is, especially in Black and brown communities, the Word of God says this: we lack, because we don't have vision, the people perish, right?
Yeah.
In all of our getting, we need to get an understanding. And the truth is, for so long, and it's not necessarily mythical, we have lacked understanding in policy and procedure. We always assume people know what the role and responsibility is. And while I hear people address the issues, the truth is some people tune out, check out, and don't engage because they don't understand the process of city, state, of legislation, of what a statesman or none of it. To be honest, they don't know what measures are for. And so the majority of the time, most ballots go forsaken in certain areas because they don't know. They just, who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, when in essence, there are far greater details that need to be paid attention to, especially when it comes to propositions and measures, things that other states and state legislation, like in Chicago, they don't get to vote on equitable things. They don't get to make decisions. And so I saw Tara expressed the power of the council that you were talking about, the community, keeping the community connected and really listening to the voices of the community and talking to those and engaging with those. Even here in the city of Vallejo, who is running for mayor, is Hakeem Brown, and I believe Vernon Williams is running for city council here in the city of Vallejo. And you see feet on the ground, like these people, we really trying to do something other than what's been done. And so I'm really excited to see some fresh blood. And for those of you that are making comments, we appreciate all of you for your shares and things of that nature. I also put in the comments an online voter registration link. It'll take you right to, if you're not registered to vote, there is still time. If you've received your ballot and you want to send it out, you have until the 17th, I think, for mail-in ballots. So just FYI, if you've not registered, we admonish you to do so. And don't forget Delon Jackson, if you're in the city of Fairfield for city councilman.
District 4. Don't forget.
District 4, yes. Can you do this? I know here, Aaron Hannigan is District 1. Can you explain the difference between districts? Somebody may not know.
Okay, so what happens is just recently this year, they went to district. It used to just be citywide. So when you run for city council back then, the whole city was able to vote for you and stuff. But now they just put it in certain areas. They cut it out certain districts. They lined it up and everything. So each district is awarded to the certain amount of people on the council. So in our council, we have now 6 council people and we have 1 mayor. The mayor has the whole city. So the mayor there's no districts. But as a councilman, you have 1 district where you're in charge of, where you must maintain and make sure that the people are aware of what's going on, and you making sure that everything is clean, look nice and livable, and that they happy. That's your job. Is that fair? Yes and no. I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm Fairfield, all Fairfield, but I'm geared to concentrate on 1 district, but yet I'm still Fairfield. So when I vote or whatever, it'll be for the city of Fairfield, but I'll have interest and income and input from the community of District 4. So they will have their voice. So it's like you're giving a district a voice compared to other voices. So that's what we look at districts. And I was told that it might change next time around, because right now this is a test thing. They're just trying to figure out what's going on. But change districts. Districts might change again. That's what's mainly happening. I'm focused just on 1 district. That's my job, is to make sure that that district is taken care of. But when we all come together and it's something for the whole city, we all vote on the same thing. But my district will know what I'm voting on.
Very good. Very good. If you are unaware of what district you live in, how can you locate that information?
Well, you can go to the city clerk. If you're in City of Fairfield, go to cityfairfield.com. And what happens is they'll say city clerk. It'll be one of the departments. Look up city clerk. And then once you open it up, it'll say districts, elections. District election, and then it'll pop up what district you in, and you can zoom in and zoom out, whatever it may be, and it'll show you if you're street, it'll let you know what district you're in, who's representing that district too.
Very good. Very good. So for those of you, you may never have voted with the frame of mind that you were voting for your specific geographical location. Certain times, I know for me, I am District 3, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a huge trash issue. Oh my God. It stresses me completely out. Like I want to stop my car and clean the streets up. I'm like, Jesus, oh my God, help. Right. And it's not in my neighborhood per se, but I got to drive through it. And literally those things matter. Potholes matter. They tear up your car. Homelessness in specific areas, it matters. Right. And who we have in place, and I don't mean no harm. But listen, I got side eye going here about certain things. Yeah, because it's depressing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right. And so even with having a heart for homelessness, I can all the camps out here, my name just Miss Dionne. So, at this point. But it bothers me that we don't have greater solution for a problem that's progressing. And unfortunately, with this COVID stuff and the financial situations, it's increasing.
This is what I look at homelessness, because once we got to realize is this couple things. Homelessness been here before I was born, is going to be here when I'm gone.
Yep.
This is a universal issue, and it is what it is, and it's never going to go away. I'm just being real with you.
It's true.
We got to also realize that there's 4 types of homeless people. And the 4 we're looking at is those on substance abuse, those who are mentally ill. You have those who are unemployment, lost everything, or people who just come out of prison. But the main ones that we deal with a lot in law enforcement are the ones who don't want to go nowhere, don't want to listen. They have a place to go, but they choose not to go there. Those are the ones who are just, I don't care. I really don't care, and I'm gonna stay here. What you gonna do about it? It's and if you look at Martin versus the City of Boise, the Ninth Circuit, they said one thing: it's unconstitutional for a police officer to arrest a homeless person in the public place if there's no beds available. Did you hear what it just said? If there's no beds available.
Yeah.
The problem we have is we don't have beds. And if we do have beds, some of them just don't go.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's where we have it at. So what my solution was this, is that won't we, in City of Fairfield, let's build a facility that's so nice that you have a place where you can get mentally health done, you can get substance abuse, you can work on jobs and stuff, a facility. If we're building all this other stuff, why not build something for the homeless, right? Let's have a 24-hour soup kitchen. Because there's some kids out there homeless that need food at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
We need to do this. Why can't we put money in things that is needed than things that we want?
Right.
We need help. So let's find a facility for them, and then let's do what Richmond doing. And I'm just got to say, because I'm in Richmond, let's make sure at 24 hours there's a vehicle that goes around, drives around with everything in there, and look for people who need help and take them to these facilities. Let them know, hey, we got food here. We can have a day you can go to take a shower, whatever it may be. The only problem you have with this, and I told them this, is that when it becomes successful, guess what? Other cities are going to start sending them to our city.
Yep. Very true.
They're going to kick them out of San Francisco and say, go over there to Fairfield. They're going to kick them out of Richmond, go over there to Fairfield. They got places. And now when we have 10, we have 30.
Right.
That's the only issue. So we have to come up with a solution on that too. But that takes the county and Vallejo and Fairfield and Vacaville, all of us come together and work on this issue.
I agree 110%. And some of these nonprofit organizations, I get, for me personally, I get really frustrated just feeding people. I do it because it needs to be done, or, buying sleeping bags, or, making sure that they have clothes. But I get frustrated because it's such a temporary solution.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
yeah. And so here in the city of Vallejo, there was this old army barracks. And I really,
Mm.
really wanted the old army barracks for that purpose. Do you know they have torn the whole thing down? That hurt my feelings. That hurt my feelings something terrible. So, just notice that there are folks here, that absolutely support what you are saying, that support, even the idea, even the soup kitchen. Yeah, I agree, Tara. I agree 110%. Definitely. Um, Definitely set a good example Richmond has with how they serve the homelessness. They really, really do. I'm looking forward to that being modeled and shipped out. You were going to say something. I'm sorry.
And that's a reason why I said we're so far ahead. When I came out here, I was just in shock. Like, what have y'all been doing all this time? I mean, you say you visit here, and you visit there, but it's not showing nothing. I don't see nothing here. And we're doing it. Richmond doing it. Might not be the best, like the state of the art and stuff, but they're doing something. They're making that effort, and we're going to make that same effort here in Fairfield. We're going to do the same thing. Under leadership, it's going to happen. And I guarantee you, that barracks that they had out there in Vallejo, that wouldn't have happened here. Because if you're complaining about homelessness, you have the opportunity now to house them. Why would you get rid of something when you know this can solve some of the problems we're talking about now?
It was hundreds of them. You hear me? And it was hundreds of them. I was like, I took pictures of them and everything. I was super like, this would do it. But I think it was yeah, I agree too. Yeah, I agree, Tara. I think that's an amazing idea. Tri-City, some type of a union type deal where we work in a force.
And that will come with the Solano County, because other Solano County, Fairfield, and all those areas under Solano County. So that will be happening. And if we can have that one facility for the House Vallejo, House Vacaville homeless in that one big facility, it can be done. And so that's one thing I'm working on and everything. I'm going to do the best I can to get it done. But the problem we have is this. The only way that can be successful is we have to have a neighborhood council. Because why? Just not me talking about, but behind me. When they look behind me and see all those citizens saying, let's get it done, what's going to happen then? It's going to get done. The people is the voice. The people got to step up. You got to go vote. You got to take care of your business. You want change. Get out there and make change. And I'll be right with you through it all.
Very good. That was very good. And I think a major issue for this season and for the cultural climate that we're actually seated in, with all of the multiple dilemmas with regard to housing and shelter and food and clothing and just basic survival needs. I think that if we find those voices, because quiet as it's kept, there are a whole bunch of folks that love serving. Some of them are just doing it out of their trunk. But imagine if we were organized. And what we know, if we know nothing else, is when you have a solid leader. And I'm going to say this from a place of experience. Delon is a solid leader. I think that with or without occupying the title, he is still standing in the position. And so I think to be able to solidify that and to be able to secure that, to give him the necessary authority to actually move on our behalf, as a community. And so for those of you that are in Fairfield, this is not just a conversation piece. These are not broken pieces. This is just kind of the fabric of the man. And it's what he is known for, the relationship building and the community outreach. And so if you were uncertain Let me just tell you, this is what I know for sure. This is this is not a rumor, and we are not strangers. And it's not even that we're friends, but we absolutely are siblings. Number one in the faith, and we both have the same heart for some of the same
Right.
causes. So I'm
Right.
excited
Right.
for you, Delon.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
excited for the city of Fairfield. Should they make the wise choice and vote Delon Jackson on November 3rd, District number 4. Don't forget District number 4. Sorry, I'm from Richmond.
Yes.
I had
Yes.
to nod
You
behind
know.
it. Yee! Right? If you could say one last thing to the people as we are approaching the hour, um, what would you share with them in your exit? What would you say?
I'll say this to the city of Fairfield. I come to the city to show you that I care. I walk the streets to let you know that I'm here. I want to be that ear. I want to be those eyes. I want to be a person that will pull up my sleeve. And if I have to dig a ditch or sweep the streets, whatever it may be, I want to be an example. Those who see me walking out there in the city with my door hangers by myself, when it was so bad, the air was so bad, they used to stop and say, "Hey, Delon, what are you doing?" I said, I have to get to the people no matter what. I have to get to the people because it's the people that make a city keep going. So this is what I want to say, vote for Delon Jackson, District 4. I guarantee you, give me 4 years. That's all I'm asking, 4 years. And I will show you that I can make a difference for you. And I can make your city the best city. And it'll be an example city, and then other cities will come after and ask us, how did you do it? Just give me 4 years. And if I can't do it in 4 years, I'm out. Said and done, I'm gone. And that's the truth. So vote for Delon Jackson come November the 3rd. And once I'm in, I guarantee you I will walk around again thanking everybody as much as I can.
Very good. So, with that said, listen, you guys heard it right here first. This has been another Increased Media moment, and we are honored to have the electoral candidate, Delon Jackson, again for District 4 there in the city of Fairfield. It was a pleasure to be able to hear your heart, for the people to really be introduced to not just what you say, but what we all see that have experienced you in both your office as an officer, in your role as a father, a brother, a friend, and even standing on both sides of the fence when it comes to Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, and all those different things, and still being neutral enough to stand firm on what it is that you want to do in your local city, in your local community. I think that the neighborhood council would be an amazing idea. I'm looking forward to even hearing the testimonies of what it yields and what it produces, and even the relationships that come from it. And, just as a voter, not running for any office, but what I can say is relationships matter. Relationships make all the difference in the world, and really spending time in your community with the people that you live with. Remember back in the day, we used to say how everybody knew your neighbor's name?
Yes. Yes.
Today, that's almost unheard of, right? I know my neighbors on both sides of the street because I'm from Richmond, and my grandmama's name was Sadie.
Yes.
I never got it right. But nevertheless, Delon, I appreciate your time. Thank you for choosing to make your debut here. I am owner, operator, founder of Increased Media. I do all things media, all things business. So it's actually Increased Media Business Solutions. But you can always visit my website, increasedmedia.com, if you're planning on hosting anything digital, anything electronic. And you are considering doing it with excellence. My goal is to serve you in such a way that it is an unforgettable moment. Delon, I thank you again. I look forward to the outcome. After November 3rd, you got to come back. We got to talk about it. Okay.
I will talk about it. And I want to say one thing. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
My pleasure.
It's really a blessing. I ask God that He continue to bless you. And for those who are listening in and watching, please subscribe to such greatness right here. This is greatness. Amen. This is. And I can't wait to see you on television too. So awesome.
Listen, around. And I'll receive it. Once upon a time, I wouldn't have been able to take all of that. But yes, sir, I got some business and I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Amen. All right, Delon. Well, you have a wonderful evening. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for each of those of you that shared. And listen, again, if you've not registered to vote, register. Again, Delon Jackson, District 4. And this has been another Increased Media Moment. Bye, guys.
Bye. God bless.